wasn't correct. So let me know if the sound is good. And it is storming and it's raining here in Chicago. So hopefully you guys can hear it. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate you. Who do I have in my live this evening? Hey ladies, who do I have here? Hi Carolyn in Tennessee. How are you, beautiful? Hello, Juliet. So you can't hear. I'm not sure, Juliet. Maybe come out and come back in. Make sure your volume is up. I know sometimes Inside Timer can be a little finicky like that, but it's my understanding that the sound is good. Is anybody else having that problem? Let me know. You don't have sound either, Carolyn? Oh dear. That's interesting. Hold on. Let me make sure I got it set right. Mm, 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 mm. Just checking the sound. Give me 1 second, soulmates. I think I got this set right. We got it on high quality. Ah, I see what the issue is. I got it. Let me see if this is working because I think the problem is I'm connected to this device and that device and all the devices at the same time. How does that sound? Can you hear me now, soulmates? Can you hear me now? Think I figured it out. Hey, how does that sound now, soulmates? Are you guys able to hear me? If not, let me know. But I think we are good to go. Let me know if the sound is good. Are you able to hear me? You can't hear either? Okay, can you hear me now? Still no? I get it. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yes, no, maybe so. See, I told you I get traumatized. Every time I come on Inside Timer, it's always something. Still no sound? Even though I got the mic connected. Let me log out and come back in without closing it. Hold on. Okay, soulmates. What about now? Are you able to hear it? Hey, Craig, welcome. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Still no sound? If not, I'm gonna have to lose these earbuds. But can somebody let me know? Hey, soulmates on YouTube. Check in. Let me know, soulmates on Insight Timer. I'm assuming that's a no because nobody is saying anything. Still no sound? Nothing? No? No sound still? Even though I did the sound check and it was working. But that's how life goes. Hey there. Hi, Tyrone. Welcome. Welcome, soulmates. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you so very much for your patience, for your support. Still no sound? Okay. Got it. So, what I'm going to do is disconnect this completely. What about now, soulmates? Can you hear me? I don't know why Inside Timer always gives me a hard time. They won't let me be great. Still nothing? How about on YouTube? Can you guys hear me? Thank you, Tyrone, for subscribing and liking. I don't know why the sound isn't working on Inside Timer because it was working right before I hopped on, and I'm scared to go out because I don't want it to cancel my live. So tell me what to do, soulmates. What do you want to do? You guys want to join me on YouTube? Because I'm afraid if I go out on Inside Timer, I'm not going to be able to come back on. And that's what happened on New Year's Eve, and I don't want to miss it. I don't want to mess it up. So let me know what you're thinking, soulmate. I think that is so weird. Even though, strange. Hold on, let me see something. Okay, now I think I got it. How about now, soulmates? I think I figured it out. I think it's because it was connected to my phone, to my laptop, to the phone and the laptop. How about now? I think I figured it out. Let me know if you can hear me now, soulmates. I'm seeing hearts. That's a yes. Yes, soulmates, we got it. Thank you guys for your patience. How are we doing today, soulmates? Happy Tuesday. Thank you all for joining. I am so grateful to be here with you all. I am so happy to be here. So before I begin, I need to know how we're feeling today, soulmates. I need the check-ins. I need the check-ins. And for those that are new to me, my name is Keana Shatteen. Welcome to Healing Out Loud Uncensored. I'm an emotional literacy consultant, speaker, and the author of a book titled Healing Out Loud Reclaim Your Voice, Power, and Purpose. And this space today that I've created, that we're co creating together, this is a safe space. This is a real space, a brave space for us soulmates. And for those that are new to me, this is Healing Out Loud because I created a space where we can be honest about what it is that we're feeling, what we're going through, whatever it is that we've been holding in silence, not able to fully understand, so that we can learn how to move with intention instead of reaction. Because 7 years ago, soulmates, I can never forget April 22nd, 2019 was a day that transformed my entire life. And that's why today matters to me more than anything. Anything you could ever imagine, soulmates. Because 7 years ago, I was not planning on being here. I can't even imagine then being where I'm at today because I did not see this. But here I am, soulmate, still standing. And I'm just so grateful that you all are here to celebrate with me. Can I tell you, soulmates, how much this means to me? I went from 7 years ago thinking I was alone in this world, alone in my struggles, to being here with all of you all today, 7 years later, saying I survived suicide and I get to celebrate with people out loud. Because 7 years ago, I didn't see this. I thought I was alone in my struggle. Nobody could understand what I was feeling. I didn't even understand what I was feeling. So today, soulmates, we are celebrating. We are celebrating life. We are celebrating voice, truth, power more than anything. Because I did not get in this space overnight. This was not easy, soulmates. And yes, I'm going to share my story with you, but this is bigger than me. Because when I share my story, soulmates, I'm sharing my story so that you can see your reflection in me and know that you are not alone. Because I know everything is not perfect in life right now, soulmates. I know my life is not perfect either. But that doesn't mean that you have to give up or that you can't get through what it is that you're going through. And yes, you will survive it. I survived it. And if I can survive it, I know you can. See, April 22nd, actually April 21st, 2019, I remember my life felt so unstable. It was like everything I thought I could depend on just fell apart. How many of you have ever experienced your entire ground just being shifted from underneath you? Your whole entire stability and your foundation being crumbled, cracked, just torn apart. Because that's what it felt like for me 7 years ago. Yes, Carolyn. And I'm grateful that you're here with me because you know what that space is. And that space can be a scary space. That could be a scary space when your entire world is shaken and you don't know where to go. You don't know how to explain it. But all you know is that something inside of you does not feel okay. See, I didn't know how to hold on to everything that I was going through back then. But there was a lot coming up for me. And everything I had been avoiding just showed up. It reared its ugly head. And I had to face my truths. So all the things I was avoiding, like my life, I couldn't really see myself. My marriage was ending, my relationship was falling apart. My mental health was shot. My overall sense of self was gone. I didn't even know who I was. And in that moment, everything came to surface. Everything. Everything I tried to ignore. Everything I kept trying to outrun. I just couldn't hold it anymore. Do you know what it feels like to be so overwhelmed and heavy? Completely disconnected from yourself. And you don't even have the language or the understanding to make it make sense, because how you're feeling is not okay. So on April 22nd, 2019, when that moment happened, the only thing I could do was say, I am sick of this. I just want to go to sleep and not wake up. So I attempted to end my life, not because I wanted to die, but because I did not know how to live with the pain that I was in, the heaviness, the silence that had become so deadly. It was like screaming at me. And some of you are probably sitting here right now in the live, or sitting somewhere where you're feeling that, or you felt that before. And maybe you didn't have the understanding, or you don't have the language for it. But you know it's heavy. And all you know is that it's overwhelming. That emotional exhaustion. It's like walking through a fog. I can remember waking up, going through the motions. I went to work every single day. And I had to show up as an HR generalist and show up for people when I didn't even have the energy or the strength to show up for myself or my family. But I kept going because I had to, right? That is just the way we are conditioned. You ignore everything you feel. You ignore yourself, because I already don't trust my inner voice. We don't trust our inner knowing because they never allowed us to understand ourselves emotionally on a deeper level. They never allowed us to tap into our intuition and trust our emotional guidance system. They didn't teach us that in school. And so when you go to work and when you show up with the mask on, you just keep pushing the best you can. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I can't help anybody if I don't put my oxygen mask on first. But because I don't have language for what I feel, I just show up. But see, here's the thing, soulmates. See, what you're feeling internally definitely shows up externally. It shows up in the way you communicate. It shows up in your body. It shows up in what you say and what you don't say. It shows up in your patterns. The things that you keep repeating, the mistakes you keep repeating, the conversations you keep repeating, the relationships you keep repeating, the things you keep tolerating because you're ignoring yourself. What you choose, what you ignore, soulmates, and what you decide to just stay in, it will overwhelm you. It drains you if it's not healthy for you. But if you're like me and where I was at 7 years ago, you're just pushing through. You're not knowing what it is that you're feeling, but you're living because that's what it looks like. But really, you're not. You're just surviving because you're not the real you. There's a fragment of you showing up to the world because the real you on the inside is crying for help. It's almost like being in a sunken place. It's like the real you is beneath all of the heaviness, all of the struggle, all of the overwhelm. So how do you find the real you if you're just piling things up? And it's just gradually pushing the real you down. You're losing yourself in the midst of trying to survive because you're trying to push it down. Half the time we don't really try to figure it out, but even if we do, we never allow ourselves to actually feel it. But that's the space that we need to go in, soulmates. That's the space where you begin to slow down. This is where you begin to acknowledge what it is you've been carrying. This is where we get honest with ourselves, soulmates. Because once you start to do that, that's when everything begins to shift. Hey, Eleanor. Now, for me, soulmates, that was not one clean breakthrough. I didn't just attempt and then wake up and say, I'm okay. Woo, I'm so glad that was over. That's not how any of that works. Because healing is gradual. There's steps to it. It's just like anything. When you're healing physically, you have to get physical therapy. You have to practice. You have to exercise the muscles, right? Well, it's the same thing when you're healing mentally and emotionally. So it wasn't just one clean breakthrough. It was in the moment I realized I could not keep living this way. I couldn't keep showing up like this. I couldn't continue to be this woman, be this type of mother to my son, be this version of Keana to the world. But I was tired, soulmates. I was tired. And after my attempt, when I ended up in the hospital, realizing I'm still here, I had to face it. I had to face everything I had been avoiding. But nothing changed on the outside. Nothing was going to change on the outside. The marriage still was over. My situation was still the same. Only difference is I can't ignore me anymore. I couldn't outrun myself, and I tried, and Spirit said, nope, not today. You will sit here and you will face yourself. You will see what it is that you need to see about yourself. I could no longer outrun my feelings as much as I tried. How many of us try to outrun the feelings? I couldn't outrun my thoughts. No matter how hard I tried to stay busy, no matter how much I tried to throw myself into work or distract myself with shopping or distract myself with meaningless things, nothing was shifting because I had to shift. I had to start by being honest with myself. And that's the type of work that I do now. I help people understand what they're feeling so they can stop overriding themselves, stop ignoring your inner emotional compass, start recognizing your patterns so you can start to communicate clearly, build stronger, more aligned connections. Most importantly, make better choices and decisions for the real you, for who you truly are. Once you finally freed yourself from the pain, from the heartbreak, from the loss, from all the things that you keep trying to avoid about yourself. I am Eleanor, yes. So let me ask you something, soulmates, and I really want you to be honest about this. Remember, this is a safe space, judgment-free zone. None of us are in a position to judge. But what are you avoiding about yourself right now? What are you afraid will come up if you slow down long enough just to allow yourself to feel it? Where are you overriding your feelings just to keep something going? Where are you lying to yourself right now? When you know the truth, yet you're choosing not to act on it anyway. Because let's be honest, soulmates, we are our own worst enemies. And we're not victims. I wasn't a victim 7 years ago. But I couldn't see myself. I couldn't ask myself the tough questions. The questions that I needed to ask to finally see myself. Because nobody was going to come save me. There wasn't enough money in the world, enough shoes, enough clothes, not a car, not a bag, not a man, not a relationship was going to fulfill me and make me happy except me. I had to get out of my way and see that. That nothing outside of me was going to help me find that peace that I was so desperately seeking, except finding it within. The spirit within me had to help me see that. And I had to be real with myself. What is the truth that I keep trying to act like I don't know? And the truth of the matter is I was afraid of having to stand on my own 2 feet and be alone. Even though my marriage was over, I was afraid of having to start over. I was afraid of what life would look like outside of what I thought was the perfect life. Because nobody prepares you for what if this does not work the way you want it to? What if this job ends unexpectedly? Or what if somebody dies in your family and you're not ready? Because that's what life does. And for some of us, those can be very chaotic, traumatic experiences. If you haven't been able to identify your emotional patterns, your emotional makeup, how you respond to conflict, how you respond to stress, how you respond to anxiety, how you respond to financial struggles. Because we never take into accountability how much our emotions affect and dictate the way we live, the way we eat, the way we spend, even the way we attract money and people. And like I've always said, before it becomes a mental health problem, it starts in the heart, in the emotion, the feeling of what is it that I am not allowing myself to feel, or what is it that I'm feeling and I don't know how to explain. See, that's the part that's missing in the mental health conversations, is being able to understand the feeling behind why I'm feeling depressed, why I'm feeling anxiety, why I'm suffering with PTSD. And if something is coming up for you right now, soulmates, don't ignore that feeling. Please don't ignore it. Please don't outrun yourself. Please don't try to pretend that you don't know the truth about yourself. Because that's where we are right now. We are all being called to grow mentally, emotionally, spiritually, on a collective level. So I want to open this up because I did say I was going to do a live Q&A. And thank you, Gus, for donating. And because you did donate, Gus, I will allow you to go ahead if you are called to do so. Feel free to ask your question. Anybody that donates, I will give you priority on any question, comment, concern, whatever it is that you're experiencing right now. And always, soulmates, if this space is supporting you, if you're feeling called to do so, please feel free to donate and support in any way you know how. Let me know if you are still there, Gus. And in the meantime, if anybody else has any questions, any comments, anything that you're going through right now, soulmates, that you're trying to make sense of. Because I know when I was in this space 7 years ago, if I had seen something like this, I would have definitely reached out. I would have definitely tried to express my truth. Do you have a question or comment or anything that you would like to unpack during this live, Gus? Anything you need to heal out loud from? Anything I could walk with you? Thank you for the hearts. I love that. Thank you, soulmates. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here. I say that all the time. When I say here, I say I'm grateful to be here in this space, in the skin I'm in this life. I'm just grateful to be alive today. I just never would have imagined that I would be here today. But it's an end of a huge chapter in our lives, soulmates. I'm just going to speak on an astrological standpoint real quick. Because right now Uranus is getting ready to move out of Taurus. It's been in Taurus for the last 7 years. I'm going to make this connection for you, soulmates. 7 years ago, Uranus was in Taurus. Taurus is the planet of stability, structure, right? We're in Taurus season. And 7 years ago, my stability and structure was crumbling. And Uranus, the planet of disruption and chaos, showed up and showed out in my life, so much so that I almost ended my life. I'm not saying that that is the reason why, but that influence definitely had some effect on my decision. And here we are 7 years later with Uranus getting ready to move into Gemini, which is the planet of communication, truths, right? Now things are about to expand on a whole different level. And I just want you to think about where you were 7 years ago, soulmates. What does your life look like? Think about how far you've grown. Did you have a question or anything you want to share, Gus? Or anybody else, soulmates? Remember, this is a space I created for you. Nothing but a safe space. Because if there is something that you're suffering with in silence, something that needs to be shared, something that you need to release, I want you to be able to do so. I want everybody to have this space. Because for me, this is why I get out of bed every day. To create safe spaces for us to truly be able to heal out loud. Gus says, I sometimes battle with feeling lonely. Not about relationships, but just feeling like I'm in a world of my own where people don't understand who I really am. Mm. First of all, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being honest. Did you want to share more? Did you have a question? Because what I'm hearing you say is you want to have more connection, but are you allowing yourself to be open to receive connections? And when you're in a world of your own, I understand how that can feel. It sounds like where you are right now is trying to find your tribe. That is so interesting. I had a conversation with some colleagues about this yesterday. And if you've been following me for a while now, soulmates, you'll notice I've been talking about this for a while where we're all are starting to connect and find our tribe. Many of us are probably noticing disconnections in our relationships where some relationships are dissolving, some relationships are ending, some relationships are shifting. But like I always say, once one door closes, another one opens. When we make room for new, more aligned connections, then that's when we can be open to receiving the true connections meant for us. So that feeling that you're stating about feeling lonely, you will no longer feel that. But it sounds like you're in that in between space of letting go of the old and not really knowing what the new looks like. And that's understandable. But I assure you, once we make room, it does appear. I know that for a fact. And over the last 2 to 5 years, I've noticed a lot of relationships shifting in my life. I too have sometimes felt not lonely, but I feel isolated. And not intentionally, but it just feels like it's hard to connect and relate to people. Just because spiritually and emotionally I've evolved. So I think and look at things differently, right? And sometimes that happens. So for you, Gus, I would recommend that you allow yourself to, first of all, think about what your relationships will look like? How do you want to feel when you find these new relationships? What kind of experience do you want to have in them? What type of values? How will they enhance your life? So start to design and create those relationships. Most importantly, start with the relationship with yourself. Because once you embody that, once you find that type of relationship within, then you will find those relationships. Those that actually do understand who you really are. Let me know your thoughts, Gus, if you have any questions, any comments. Let me know how that landed, how that sat with you. And anybody else, any other questions, soulmates? That makes sense. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you again for the donation. I actually had another question from someone else, and the question is, how do you know when you've outgrown something, even though it's been there for years? Okay. Okay, I think I hear what I think I understand what you're saying, and I just want to make sure I understand clearly. What you're asking is, what I hear you're saying is you've outgrown it. You know you've outgrown it, but you're trying to decide how to let go. And may I ask, is this a relationship that you're looking to let go of? I'm assuming it is. Okay. Thank you. And thank you for that question, because that's a great question right now. A lot of us, like I said, kind of going back to Gus's question and even yours, we're going through relationship shifts. And what I hear you saying is that you're trying to move in a different way now. You wanting to let go, but you're not sure how. But I want to ask you this. How does it feel when you stay in this relationship? How does this relationship feel to you? Because if you're asking about this relationship and whether or not it's time to move, or how will you know, it sounds like to me you already know it's time to let go of this relationship. And it also sounds like to me you've already outgrown the relationship. So again, we got to start by being honest with ourselves. Ask yourself, what value is this relationship still have in your life? And it's okay to ask yourself that. Because most often than not, we stay connected to people, to things, to experiences, to situations because of history. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's still aligned with you today. Sometimes we outgrow people, experiences. We can outgrow jobs. Let's be honest. How many times have you been in a position when you know you're not happy, but you keep going? But how does it feel when you show up? I've been at jobs where it felt so physically draining and exhausting that I would get depressed, just like relationships. This is the point I want us to see, soulmates, is that you have to honor yourself. You have to honor your truth. You have to honor your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, your body signals. The body is telling you this doesn't feel right. Your mind and your emotions are telling you this doesn't feel right. So why do we allow ourselves to stay when we are no longer aligned? Because that's the truth of what happened for me after I healed. That's the biggest truth that I discovered, is that I no longer have to hold on to connections or people or situations that are not truly in alignment with me. And it doesn't truly make me feel good. And I want you to be able to see that too, soulmates. You do not have to give to someone just to please them. It's okay to say no. And it's okay to set boundaries too. In fact, if I had to probably set more boundaries 7 years ago, maybe I would have been more mentally stable to handle my challenges, but I didn't know how. So allow yourself to be honest with yourself. Remember, nothing starts outside of us, soulmates. Put the mirror up to yourself and ask yourself, what is the value in this? Does this truly benefit me? And then ask yourself, how do you feel when you interact with the person or when you're in those spaces? Pay attention to what your signals are stating to you. That tired feeling that I felt 7 years ago, you can feel it now, soulmates. You probably already are. But I won't allow you to check out. Hey, Evie, welcome. That's why I created Healing Out Loud. I want you to be able to acknowledge that tiredness, that heaviness, that's disconnection from yourself. Because I want you to be able to realize, too, that you can't ignore yourself. I don't want you to try to ignore yourself. I don't want you to outrun your feelings. And I know that the world has always told us feelings are wrong, feelings are bad, don't have feelings, don't show feelings. In fact, we have been conditioned to believe that feelings are weaknesses, and I'm here to show you that in fact it's really not. It's our tool, it's our superpower if we learn how to navigate and understand them fully. They're nothing to run from, nothing to be afraid of. The shifts that we're looking for, soulmates, start with becoming a different you by being honest with yourself. And you can go through all the programs and do all the right things, but if you're not being honest about what you're feeling, then nothing will change or really move in your life. Nothing will change if you're not being honest with yourself. And that was the truth of the matter for me. That's where Healing Out Loud was born. Because I had to get truthful with myself. And I had to be honest and tell myself. And also ask for help and say, I am powerless to my emotions because I don't know why my emotions trigger me to do things that are unthinkable and unlovable. But I'll tell you, soulmates, you cannot heal what you won't feel. Nor can you heal in the places that hurt you. So be honest with yourself. Are you in spaces, places, around people that allow you to heal, to evolve, to grow? Because as long as you're living, soulmates, you are healing. You get the opportunity to grow, to evolve, to change. Again, soulmates, if this is hitting you, don't sit on that. Don't ignore it. Let me ask you, soulmates, what does low feel like for you? Is it heavy? Do you feel numb? Maybe you tend to overthink. Or maybe you were like me, you just shut down mentally. See, that can look different for all of us. Low can look like constantly being in your head, but not fully understanding what's going on internally, inside your heart, inside your soul. But that's where the work starts. When you can name what you're feeling and what's happening in your mind, you stop trying to escape it. You stop trying to outrun yourself, and you start to learn how to respond instead of react. Hi, is it Jabib? Thank you for being here. And as you continue to practice that, that's when the shift starts to happen over time. You start to catch yourself sooner when you start to go down that rabbit hole, when that feeling of low comes up, or when you feel yourself about to be triggered. You can notice it and then make a different decision. You move differently in situations that used to take you out. See, that's why healing is not just one moment. It's a series of moments with yourself. Because someone asked me that recently. Can you ever be completely healed? And my answer is you cannot be completely healed. You can heal in one area, but new levels, new devils. So the more you're evolving, the more you're growing, more challenges, more areas of healing. But once you've understood how to heal, now you apply that medicine repeatedly. This is how you become your own medicine. This is how you learn how to heal in real time, by being honest with yourself. And you eventually realize you are no longer the same person that you used to be. And be proud of that, soulmates. You have grown. That is the shift. And that is powerful. Gus says, how did you go from feeling tired and low to knowing that it was time for change? What that exact moment looked like for you? For me, like I said, it looked like me waking up in a hospital saying, now what? What did I just do? Make this make sense. My situation is still the same, and I still feel the same. And I'll be honest, soulmates, I thought about doing it again some months later, but I didn't have the courage. I guess my spirit knew this is just not the way to do it. This is not the way to go. So honestly, I had no choice but to face myself. And I believe honestly it was my spirit calling me, saying it's time for you to grow up, because you can't continue to live like this. I just couldn't anymore. I got tired of going through the up and down emotional roller coaster, of trying to understand myself, of trying to avoid myself. I got tired of sleeping all day and not being able to sleep at night. I got tired of hiding from myself. I got tired of having the same wounds getting triggered over and over and over again. And so that moment looked like me taking it one day at a time, choosing to do something different than I would normally do. Choosing to actually say, just for today, the choice is mine. I get to get up and say, I'm going to live today. And the thing I love about this process and this path, soulmates, is the more I healed, the more I evolved, the more I was able to hear spirit, the more connected I felt to God, Goddess, all that is, to the divine. And I could hear clearly that what I went through was not by accident, and it did not happen to me. It happened for me to come back and to show somebody else that they too can survive it. And suicide is not the answer, and is not the way out, because there's no way out except in and through. Grow through it. There is light on the other side of the tunnel, and I know that you don't know what it looks like on the other side, but I promise you it's worth it. Because when you're walking through the tunnel, it's dark and it can be scary. But we're not scared of the dark. We are strong. We are powerful. We are divine, God and goddesses, created by the Most High. So we already have everything inside of us to get through it, no matter how dark or challenging it gets. And it will get challenging. So if this is hidden for you right now, soulmates, don't just sit in that. Don't just ignore it. I want you to truly process and feel and understand and recognize what it is your soul is asking from you. There's a reason why you showed up to this live today. And I'm grateful that you did, because you not only showed up to celebrate my life, but you showed up to celebrate yours. And I'm here to celebrate that with you. Any other comments, any other questions, soulmates? Take a sip of water. I saw something. Where did it go? Um, I lost it. That's okay. I thought I saw somebody else make a comment. Any questions, soulmates? And I know I asked at the beginning of the live, and I don't think anybody gave me their numbers. But realistically, soulmates, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 through 5? Because I know energetically, spiritually, mentally, we are all going through some things, and we're doing the best that we can. But I want you to know that you're not alone in this. I need you to know that you're not alone in this, like I once felt. Because one thing I know about being in that low space, being in that low vibrational space, is that the darker you are, the lower you get, the easier it is for the fear to speak to you, the devil within to speak to you, because you're not connected to your higher self. You can't connect to spirit. You can't hear your soul saying, this is not the time to check out. It's time to check in. It's time to feel and hear what it is that needs to be released. And that release process can look different for all of us. For some of us, we choose to do therapy, and that's wonderful. But what I often tell people, because I get asked this question a lot, am I a therapist? I am not a therapist. I don't want to be a therapist. Salute to therapists. No, I'm a licensed life coach, but I'm an emotional literacy consultant speaker. But I help you identify your emotional triggers, your patterns, your responses. Because the more emotionally grounded and aware you are, the more efficient, the stronger you are, the better you're able to connect, relate, identify, communicate, attract. See, I had been so low vibrational and so unloving of myself, I didn't even understand how worthy I was. Not only for life, but for healthy, aligned connections. Because most of us don't even realize that we tend to attract from a space of woundedness. We tend to attract partners that don't truly reflect the light in us. They tend to reflect the shadow parts of us, the parts of us that still need healing. And it doesn't make it good nor bad, but if you're self-aware enough to see it, then you can do something about it. Because when you can see yourself, you get to free yourself. And that's where the power comes from. You don't need anybody's permission, right, to speak your truth. You don't need anybody's permission to say, I'm not okay and I need support and I'm going to figure it out anyway. And you don't need anybody's permission to speak your truth and say, sometimes I feel like I can't continue to go on. And guess what? You are not crazy. And I won't look at you sideways because I know what that feels like. Hey, Dana. Oh, thank you, Evie. Well done. It's amazing you are able to use your sad experience to help others. You were meant to do this. That's exactly it, Evie. That's when I realized this was my purpose. This is exactly why I titled the book Healing Out Loud, Reclaim Your Voice, Power, and Purpose. In that order for me. Because I was so voiceless for so long that once I understood the power in my voice, once I reclaimed my voice, I got my power back and said, wait a minute, I have a story that needs to be told. So don't let me not share this story to impact somebody else's life because this is bigger than me. This is somebody else's child. This is somebody else's mother, father, son, daughter, sister, brother, child that needs this story because people are dying by suicide and it is not okay with me. It is not okay. It is not okay with me. And as long as I live, I will continue to speak out against it. I will continue to try to teach us emotional literacy and suicide awareness and advocacy and create safe spaces so that people can see that they're not alone. No matter how much the world keeps trying to divide and disconnect us, because it is. And the more they keep trying to create this fear around us, is the more we got to try to fight hard as soulmates against it. Because we need to know that we're connected. I told you, soulmates, the world wasn't even as chaotic as it is now, and I was feeling it then. So imagine what people are going to feel now if they're not already feeling it. What do we do to support those people that are sitting there suffering in silence? Especially,
our young adults, our youth. We all deserve to live. We all have been given a life. And I believe that we all have a purpose that we don't know yet how to use, but I promise once you learn how to release and let go of things, this is what I'm trying to get you to see, soulmates. The path to healing is evolutionary. There's layers to it. But the lighter you are, the more you let go of circumstances, relationships, patterns, old versions of yourself, toxic relationship, toxic work cultures, is the more aligned, the more freer, the more your vibration gravitates, the more you're able to, again, hear spirit. Like I told you, I could hear God clearly tell me, this is your purpose, my child. Go do what you were meant to do. Because there are people out here that are still suffering. There are people out here that are going through it that have not even told anyone about it. And they're still suffering. And I need them to know that they're not alone. And they're not living in vain. And for those that we have lost, I continue to share my voice in their honor. Because if they were here, I would have tried to save them too. What are we doing this for, soulmates, if we're not trying to touch another soul or affect the change in another life? That's what my purpose has always been. And when I made the conscious choice 2 years ago to say, this is what I'm going to do, well, soulmates, I did it, and I'm doing it. And it wasn't easy. Because there are some days, because I'm human, and I get tested as well, where I continue to question it. But it's in those days, in those moments that I say, absolutely, this is why I do it. When you start to get the doubts and the insecurity, soulmates, that's when you know you got to go harder. You have to fight harder. Because that's where the change, that's where the shift sits. When I woke up in the hospital 7 years ago, I said, you know what? I don't know what's next, but I know I'm still here. I'm not 100% okay. And I'm not 100% sure if I still even want to be here, but I am. And I got a beautiful baby boy that, if not for nothing, he deserves me. So let me at least do it for him. And I continue to live for him. Not only him, I continue to live for others. Hey, Silverback, how are you, my friend? I appreciate you. You have a good week as well, love. I appreciate the love, the heart, soulmates. Again, thank you all, soulmates. So much hug. I really wish I could hug you. You all have no idea. I just can't stop. Like, this is truly a celebration. This is a celebration of life. It's not a celebration of sadness. But I do know that on April 22nd, 2019, a version of me did indeed die. Oh, she died. And then the new me was reborn right there in that hospital room. Even though I didn't know it, the new me was being birthed. Just trying to figure out how I was going to put one step in front of the other. And I didn't know some minutes how I was going to get through, but I figured it out. And sometimes, soulmates, you just have to live life minute by minute. Don't even worry about the future. Start with where you are today. And don't put too much pressure on yourself. Allow yourself grace. Allow yourself grace. Let me say it again. Allow yourself grace. I have to say that for me, you, and the people in the back. Allow yourself grace, soulmates, because you're not meant to be perfect. So even on your worst days, even on the bad days, because there will be bad days, count your blessings. Do the gratitude list. Write down the things you're grateful for right there in that moment. Even if it's just, I'm grateful for the sunlight. If I'm grateful to breathe today, that's enough to be grateful for. That's enough reason to keep going. One breath at a time. That's all it takes. That's all you need. So thank you, soulmates, for celebrating with me. This is truly a celebration of life. It's a celebration of truth. And I do hope that my story has inspired you to realize that your truth matters too. And perhaps you got a story that deserves to be heard. Now is the time, soulmates. because there's a world of people that are waiting on you to show up to be the best you, the full version of you. And when you're gone into the next realm and we're no longer living in these skin suits, then the legacy that you built and created now will continue to live on for generations to come. How powerful is that? That's what Healing Out Loud, Reclaim Your Voice, Power, and Purpose is about, soulmates. We get to heal for those that are coming after us. We get to create a world for the generations to come after us. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, they'll be able to have safe spaces where they can talk about these things that we once upon a time used to hide, that we used to pretend didn't even matter. Fake it till we make it will no longer be a thing. It's healed to reveal. That's the world we're living in, and it is nothing wrong with it. Thank you, Dana. It's powerful. It is so powerful. And I get to express so much gratitude to those that have supported me throughout this journey, those that have even come into my life and no longer here today. They all have paved the way for the last 7 years of my path to healing and where I'm at now. Alignment. Because now I get to align with my true purpose and I get to align with the right co-creators to create this new healing legacy, this healing renaissance. Because that's what this is. This is a movement. I'm not the only one. Think about it, soulmates. Healing has become a trend. And I'm not saying it's bad because as far as I'm concerned, healing is sexy. Healing is beautiful. And you get to heal however that looks for you, as long as you get to free yourself, to see yourself, to be yourself. And then you no longer have to worry about what something or someone else thinks about your truth, your power, your purpose, your strength, because it's yours to own. It's your calling, and it's not a conference call. Thank you, soulmates. I just love you guys so very much. I'm so grateful. So grateful. So grateful to be able to share my truth. So grateful to be able to do the work that I love to do, and that is teach emotional literacy and speak and teach people how to identify, give language to what they feel, what they experience, the things that we don't ever want to say out loud. Well, allow me to give you the language for that. Because I assure you, soulmates, nothing that you are going through or have went through or have experienced is any crazier than some of the things I've experienced or some of the things that others have experienced. Because we're not alone in this, soulmates. Why do you think you're my soulmates? We're meant to go through this human experience together. We're meant to learn and grow and evolve together, make mistakes, dust ourselves off, and say, how can I support you? How do I nurture you into your greatness? And if we don't have those type of connections, find them. Because that's the path that we're headed to now, soulmates. Be good to yourself, soulmates. Be kind to yourself. Love on you. Love on you the best way you know how. Because there's only one you. And without you, the world would not be the same. So love on you, no matter how bad it is. Because I promise you that tomorrow is a new day. It's a new beginning. It's a new opportunity to choose differently. We are created to be tested. See, they didn't tell me that this was life. I don't recall anybody in all the years and all the money I've spent on college, elementary school, high school, post grad. Nobody ever taught me that life was full of lessons and tests. If they would have told me this, if they could have taught us this, soulmates, do you realize where we would be right now? It's like they intentionally brainwashed us. They didn't want us to have all the tools that we needed to survive and live these lives because we already have it. But they don't want us to know that, because then how do they control us? How do they give us the power to be ourselves when we don't need their permission? Because you got breath in your body. Spirit gave you the power. So you don't need man's permission to be you. The minute you were born, you were given the opportunity to be you. So be you, fully you, authentically you. Life, yes. They say life is but a dream. Life is but a lesson. And if you don't learn the lessons, it's the same lesson, over and over and over again. And this is the work I do. Help you see what is the lesson in this experience, because you're repeating the patterns because you have not learned the lessons. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now the accountability is on you, what you're going to do. This is the work I do. I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to rehash your past, but I will show you how your past is affecting your present. And if you don't change, it's going to affect your future. That's what I'm here for, soulmates. I'm all about the present and the future. What do you want your future self to look like? Because the future you is there. You have to catch up. Spiritually, mentally, you have to get there. See, I didn't see this version of me 7 years ago. If I had known that this me was there, I probably would have went on ahead and did what I had to do a lot sooner. But I'm hard-headed. And I refused for a long time to do the work until I didn't have a choice. Nobody was going to do it. And I could not go to the places and the spaces that I was being harmed in. I had to start over. I had to find it within. And you're being called to do that as well, soulmates. It's not just me. We are in this together. It's us against the world. Because for so long, I thought it was just me against the world. But we are all we got, soulmates. But we got to know that. And we can't feel any connected to anybody outside of us if we don't feel that connection for self. So get honest and ask yourself, where have you been hiding your truth? Where have you not been fulfilling your real purpose? Be honest. Do you feel like you're living in purpose? And it's okay if you're not sure, because at least you're thinking about it. And like I tell you, soulmates, if you got the questions, you got the answers. Inside Family Unite. Yes, Inside Timer, I love us. I love us so very much. I'm so happy and grateful to be able to share this experience with you. Because for so long I was ashamed. I was like, do I tell people? But once I started healing, I started seeing the light in my story. And I was no longer ashamed or afraid to tell people, yes, I'm a suicide survivor. Yes, I attempted, and I'm still here to share it. And I've had people judge. I've had people say, you wrote a book about that. I had people side-eye me. And it feels stupendous, soulmates, because they don't know what I had to get through to get here today. So let us, first of all, stop judging people. Let us hold space for all the survivors, because a lot of us are right here, right now. So celebrate yourself, soulmates, because I'm not the only one. And you can then come here just to celebrate me. So let's celebrate you. And be proud of your strength. And even if you're going through a test right now, because we all are, like, here's the thing, soulmates, we don't ever stop getting tested. We don't ever stop getting tested, and you're probably getting tested now more than ever because you're being called to grow mentally and emotionally and spiritually. Why do you think you're being tested so hard right now, soulmates? Because you're being called to grow. Let's grow. Let's go. As long as you're here, you have work to do. It's not over. You don't get stagnant now, soulmates. It's 2026. What are we doing this for? We are alive. We're here for a reason. Don't give in. Don't give in. Don't give in to the temptation. Don't give in to the destruction. Don't give in to the chaos. Check in. Ask the chaos, what are you trying to teach me? Ask your emotions, what are you trying to tell me? See, I didn't know how to do that. I couldn't understand that back then. Thank you, Carolyn, for your donation. Nobody taught me how to ask myself those questions. They still don't. And even though I had been in therapy, I couldn't see myself. I couldn't see my wounds and my triggers. I could see who hurt and harmed me. I also could see that they weren't going to fix me, because most of the hurt were from people that were no longer here. So what am I supposed to do? Stay stuck in my past or heal today, right here, right now? And I know that may sound harsh. So if you're dealing with depression or anxiety or PTSD, soulmates, I understand, and I'm not picking at you. I'm just being real with you, because you are powerful and you are strong. And I've been there. I have been there. I have been depressed. There have been days where I did not shower, I didn't brush my teeth, I didn't get out of bed. So please believe you are not alone. And if I can survive it, then you can too. I'm no stronger, I'm no better than, nor greater than. We are all in this. We are all in this together. That's why you're here. Better days and moments. It's well worth the fight to come through. It is, Silverback. That's that's it. It is well worth it. No matter the battle, no matter the fight, soulmates, I guarantee you is worth it. Because you're not fighting for nothing. And that's what I know to be true. Spirit is not going to have you fighting. You're not going to go through any battles that aren't meant for you to grow through. Because that's your destiny. How else will you know how strong you are? And then how will you be able to appreciate what's on the other side if you don't go through the battle? If you don't go through the fight? Talking to a friend last night, I'm like, I just feel like sometimes I am constantly pushing mountains. And they said, yeah, you will constantly push mountains. And I'm okay with that. I said, but sometimes it just feels like I'm always pushing these mountains by myself. And yes, I'm strong. My auntie is tired. I need support. But I'm going to keep pushing these mountains, right? Because it's never, ever going to be easy until you learn how to just accept and surrender and say, what's next, Spirit? And that's what I had to learn how to do. I know, Karen. Okay, Karen, so you have two profiles if I'm not mistaken. Because if I'm not mistaken, you've been in my other lives under your other name. You funny. But that's healing out loud, soulmates. That's what healing out loud looks like. It looks like being able to take control over your story, over your pain. Turn your pain into purpose. Be able to speak your truth authentically, powerfully. Most importantly, you get to be honest with yourself. You get to choose what will and will not work for you. You get to say no. You get to say no, soulmates. You get to tell people no. You get to say no to situations. You get to say no to experiences. You can even tell the job no. It's okay. You know, the World Health Organization declared that this is the year that mental health has to be a priority in the workplace. I find that so interesting that now mental health has to be prioritized in the workplace. I've been saying this for years when I left corporate 2 years ago. But even 7 years ago, mental health should have been prioritized. And it really wasn't, because 7 years ago, I didn't know that I can check myself into an emergency room and tell them I wasn't okay. And I was working at a hospital. I didn't understand that. I didn't know that. Nobody taught us that. See why it's so important that we have these conversations? So people that don't know what they don't know can learn the things that they need to know to save themselves? Hey, Chandra. I have been there and completely understand. I too have turned that around and now educate others through food, movement, and spirit. Congratulations, beautiful. And I love that. I'm so proud of you for stepping into your purpose and finding your gift. And congratulations and thank you. Yes, Carolyn, take a licking and keep on ticking. And one thing about the divine feminine, that's what we do. And we do it well. We do it well and we wear it well. And just as much as the divine feminine has to carry the world on his shoulders, we do too. And we try to do it with pride and grace and style. And we try to do it with a smile on our face. But please believe, you too get to say no. We get to heal. We get to say, I don't want this anymore. Or no, I don't have to continue to overgive. I don't have to continue to overpour. We're built better than that. We're built better than that. Absolutely. You're about to truly find out how you're really built now. Look at what is happening in this world. Listen, soulmates, we're just getting started. We're still going through some shifts. Oh, absolutely. Most definitely. Absolutely, Rebecca. I'm going to come through my health issues. God is good. Absolutely, Rebecca, you are. And I'm sending you so much love and light that you do get through your health issues. Because a lot of times our health issues are caused by our mental and emotional issues. Usually it starts with emotional issues that we don't often acknowledge or address. But you got this, beautiful. As long as you keep that mentality, as long as you keep that spirit and that energy, you most definitely will get through it. Gonna take more than life, tough challenges to properly break us. It is. It is. And I don't think people realize that you can be I've been in physically abusive relationships, but nothing has hurt me more than the emotional overwhelm, the emotional turmoil that I created for myself simply because I could not understand my emotions. That hurt more than anything physically ever could. Not only that, it hurt the people around me. Because, like I said, whatever is on the inside does show on the outside. Hi, Ricardo. More than 90% of health issues come from emotional issues. Absolutely. Again, the things they don't teach us. This is why I'm here to teach us. We will be our own medicine because I'm adamant about teaching us that emotional language, teaching us what that looks like. And I'm grateful that you all are so open and honest and so supportive. And thank you all for the donations, for the generous donations. Thank you to all my YouTube family. Silverback says, look how damn strong and mesmerizingly, exquisitely beautiful you are. Thanks, dear, with all the big words. Listen, that is just the God within, and I appreciate that. Definitely. If there's anything else, any other questions, any comments, soulmates, before we close this out, I'm just, again, so grateful that you're here. Thank you so very much. And if something came up for you tonight, if something made a little more sense to you, then I want to invite you, soulmates, into the Healing Out Loud experience with me. This is where we get to actually dig deeper into the emotional patterns, the things that we keep repeating, or the reactions that we haven't fully been able to process. This is where we actually start to understand those emotional triggers, those patterns. Notice how they're showing up in your life, in your relationship. So yes, I am inviting you to join us with me. You can actually go to my website. I am doing the book, the audio book, as well as the workbook and the entire healing session. Because soulmates, we got work to do, right? And I'm truly committed to making sure that we get the opportunity to create these safe spaces. And most importantly, I get to help you do the work, do the things that you may not want to be able to do, but please know you're brave enough. You're worthy of it. And if nobody deserves to heal, soulmates, it's you. You deserve the healing above anything else. You deserve to be free mentally and emotionally. You deserve to let go of the chaos, the overwhelm, the guilt, the pressure, the stuff that you keep holding in on the inside. You get to be able to speak your truth. You get to be able to have conversations with people, no matter how uncomfortable they are, because you're emotionally grounded and sound within yourself. So that's what we're getting ready to do. And that's the work behind Healing Out Loud. Reclaim your voice, power, and purpose. Thank you, Dana. I know, Dana, I have been so busy. I haven't been able to do live. Life has started picking up. I've been doing more speaking, more workshops, that I haven't had a chance to do my lives, but I'm trying my hardest to be more diligent, which is also why I created the Healing Out Loud experience, because then that way you get that dedicated time. And it's a small space that I'm opening up so that you get that dedicated time, because I know I'm not always able to get on my lives, but I definitely make time for those that are being intentional with wanting to do this work. Because again, I told you, soulmates, I help people understand what they're feeling so you can stop overriding yourself, recognize your patterns, communicate clearly, build stronger, more aligned connections, and make better decisions. Isn't that powerful? Do you realize how much strength you get once you do all of these things? It's beautiful, soulmates. It's a beautiful thing. So you can go on my website. And for those that are new to me, please make sure you're following me on Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for those that are not able to always get on Inside Time. I always go live on there so you can see the replay whenever I do go live on here. And go to the website so you can subscribe to my newsletter so you can know where I'll be next, because I am touring the world, soulmates. I got a lot of things coming up, and I want you all to be able to experience the healing out loud in real time. And I am so intentional with this space, just like you're intentional with me, soulmates. And I really am committed to doing this work with you if you're willing to do the work for yourself. So if you're feeling led, don't wait. Super califragilisticexpialidocious. Okay, Silverback, you hit me with the Mary Poppins. I see you. Yes, make sure you're following me on Insight Timer so that you can get the notification. And again, if you feel so called, soulmates, feel free to donate. Buy me a tea, because you know she loves a medicine ball tea from Starbucks. You can subscribe on my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of the things, soulmates. Thank you all so very much for joining. You all have a happy Tuesday. Happy Taurus season. I don't know when I'll be going live again. Hopefully around by sometime around Mother's Day. Hopefully. Hopefully. If not, then definitely in May. But make sure you subscribe, soulmates. Thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate you. I hope to see you all soon.